Hello everybody, welcome to the Talos Principle. My name's EDB, to my left here is the Idiot Ninja, or just Ninja. Yes. He's going to be helping me out with commentary. If I forget something, he'll let you know. Otherwise, I will pass it over to him at the start, because he's going to explain the very start of the run. Behind me are two more Talos runners, Gelly and Apple. Hi there. I don't have much else to say, so I'm just going to jump straight into this. And this will be 3, 2, 1, go. Off we go. Right, Ninja's going to take over here and explain what I'm doing here and what these are supposed to be.
This is a puzzle game. He's holding a jammer, which is supposed to jam things, which basically means that whatever you jam stops doing its function. So these enemies that you see down here, you're meant to jam them instead of hopping over them, but we just hop over them because we can. We can because we use a trick called item jumping. There's a million different types of item jumping, including that one, which is very special and different. He's taking a safer route outside here, because the inside parkour that he was attempting the first time is some of the hardest parkour in the whole game. But this one is considerably easier.
If it doesn't work, that's fine. Right,
so this is a sigil. Sigils are essentially like the rewards for solving puzzles. Obviously, we're not going to do any puzzle solving because we can just get on the walls with item jumping and parkour all over the place to collect all that we need.
So these sigils, there's 3 colors. The ones you're seeing right now are all green, and the different colors have different purposes. The green ones that I'm getting right now let me get to new puzzles, basically. Later on, you'll see yellow ones, which are used to unlock items, although we'll only get 1 extra item. And finally, there's red sigils, which let you climb the big tower that Elohim, who's speaking right now, is going to tell us in no uncertain terms we are not to climb. We're going to climb it, though. That's to do with the game's ending, which is the next thing I'd like to talk about. Because this category is any % Transcendence, and if you haven't played the game, you're not going to have much of an idea what Transcendence means. So, minor spoilers for the game, but it is from 2014, so that's on you. There's 3 endings to the game. There's Messenger, Eternalize, and Transcendence. As you guessed, this one's for Transcendence. Usually any %, except in the very early days of speedrunning, has been Messenger or Eternalize. Transcendence was faster at the start, but very quickly we found clips that made the other 2. Which one it was has changed, but it's always been one of those 2. Which means you don't really see Transcendence very much anymore. And that's a pity, I think, because I think it's the coolest ending in the game. And if you play this game casually, then Transcendence is what you'd probably consider the true ending of the game, because this is all, more spoilers, this is all a big simulation. We're trying to teach ourselves, a robot, what it is to be human through a series of sort of iterative puzzles. And Transcendence ends that loop. That's you defying your creator and being whatever it was the creators of the simulation want you to be. So it's cool, and the fact that it's not seen in most runs is a pity, so I'm glad to show it off.
Right. You've been saying he's been using this reset checkpoint function a lot. It just warps you back to the latest checkpoint that you passed through, which usually corresponds to the latest purple barrier that you walked through. Those are usually used to define level boundaries, so you just walk through them.
Those 2 things I grabbed were a QR code and an audio log. They have a purpose. You also may have noticed that in the first level I killed myself by jumping out of bounds. That was also with purpose. Those 3 things, together with 2 other things that you won't notice, are important for the next world. I'll explain why in the next world. Come on, jump. There you go. Most of this world, well, those 2 puzzles, isn't exactly physics abuse, really. It's just badly placed level geometry that lets me climb on walls. Here, on the other hand, this is a different kind of bad level design. Game thinks you need a cube here. It's also going to beep at me a lot, but you don't... Whoops. You don't actually need a cube to solve this level. Right, I'm going to do this a slightly safer way and just let the cube bounce back. You can make it through in that small gap, but it's much easier to wait for the cube to pass to the left. There we go. And then it's beeping at me because it's like I'm in the danger zone, but I'm actually not going to die for a while there. And so you can get through the sigil. Now we're switching into more physics abuse. I'm going to take this jammer and jump onto this wall, jump along here, and this is tricky. There we go. Jump over that fence. Yep. And then take a back route into this next sigil. You'll see a star here on my left. Those are kind of bonus things you can collect in the game. If you collect all of them, then you get a special reward. Whoops, didn't quite get the checkpoint there. But for this run, we don't need any of them, so you won't see any of that. Right. You may have noticed, by the way, I've been going into 1, 3, 5, and 7. We're headed up the left side of the hub. There's 7 worlds on one side. There's all the odd worlds. On the other side, there's all the even worlds. And it's just faster to do all the odd ones first. Right. This item I'm holding here is the thing I was doing those special things for, the QR log, the death out of bounds, and the audio log. It's called paint, looks a bit like milk, and its intended purpose is nothing to do with the game. It doesn't interact with any mechanics at all. It's supposed to be used to paint a QR code on the wall and other people on your Steam friends list will be able to see that QR code if they go to the same place in game. And so that's neat, but instead what we're going to do is use it to break the game, because like jammers, it has collision, and that means that we can jump up walls with it, like so. And it's different from normal jammers because it sends you higher, and these walls you're all seeing are very high, and with a jammer this would require more frame rate, I'll touch on that in a second, than you would with paint. So basically paint makes item jumping easier. And that's the next point. Frame rate. Top right, you can see my current frame rate. It's hovering at around the high 200s. If I look at the floor, it'll spike to 300 to 400. More frame rate in this game or less frame rate? This game has a lot of tricks that depend on frame rate. Generally speaking, for most things, more is better, but there's a couple things where you need less. And because of that, this game is quote-unquote pay to win, which is a kind of running joke in the community. But it's also true, because if you have better hardware, you will be able to use tricks that other people can't. And if you have really weak hardware, then there's some runs you just can't do. The one I'm doing right now would not work if you couldn't get at least maybe 200 to 300 frame rate. And because of that, we also have 60 FPS locked category, so that people with weaker hardware still have a run that they can do. Right, I'm going to focus on this. This is an awkward cliff to climb. As is this. There's another star that we don't need. We started on the even side of A. I suppose I could mention there's 3 hubs. Nope. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. That's fine. It just means we need to do an alt. Right, now we're playing paint hide and seek. You saw paint in the last level. It's almost always in that one spot. Here it's random, though, so it wasn't there. It wasn't here. There's 2 more spots it can be in. One of them's good, one of them's bad. Let's hope it's in the good spot. It is not. Nope. Okay, that's unfortunate, but that's fine. It just loses maybe 10, 15 seconds at a later point. It does, however, mean that you get to see another cool trick, which would otherwise not be in the run. Right, so there we go. That's that solved with paint. That's the one I was trying to get to before, but fell. And then, yes,
can I mention,
go ahead.
This paint spot is actually good for this world, but the paint spots in future worlds are linked to the ones in your previous ones due to a little oversight in the code. So basically, based on where the paint spawns earlier on, we can tell where the paint will spawn in later levels. So now we know exactly where our paint will be. For the most part,
there's going to be a slight exception to that almost immediately. Right, there we go. That was a QR code. I didn't actually look at it, but that was one that is not placed there by the game. There are some pre-placed by the game, and there are some that placed by the Steam friends, and obviously the speedrun community tries to put them in as absurd places as they can for the most part, which means we may or may not see them. Okay, there was a chance there'd be paint there, and if it was there, then this next trick would be easier. This is a glitch storm. It's just a kind of quirk of the game.
A scripted event.
There we go. Happens. It's over. All right, this trick is dumb. I just have to kind of throw myself at this rock, and if I jump at the right time, I will go over it. If it doesn't work after maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 more tries, I can go and get paint and bypass it. Or there we go.
Nice.
Nice. That's a stupid trick. Okay, here you'll see the first use of Tetrominos. We're unlocking the cube, or as this game likes to call it, the hexahedron, which is a cube. As soon as I've entered the arranger, I can reset checkpoint. The item is now unlocked and will be available. Here you'll see me using green ones to exit the hub I'm in. Helps if you're good at Tetris for this game, it turns out. And this is a weird little thing. This is called elevator glitch. If I press the button in the elevator for the floor that I'm on, and then spam the one that I want to go to, it'll skip the whole elevator ride. It'll just give me the checkpoint for the place I want to go, and I'll be up top. And it skips a long wait sequence, which doesn't add anything to the game. I shouldn't have reset there. I'm used to resetting after checkpoints. That gate actually opens fast enough that it's not worth it, but it's fine. Right, we're entering B. This is the second of 3 hubs. The first one that you saw me was A. That was all sort of Greco-Roman themed. This is, you'll see, desert themed. There's a third hub, C, which is kind of medieval European themed, but we won't go there. Right, there's a cool thing I want to show off in this level. It's not actually the speedrun, but it's cool. This wall is covered in QR codes because this is the B3 paint wall where members of the community put their QR codes and everyone adds each other on Steam and everyone can see each other on this wall. We chose this wall not just because it's a big wall, but because B3 used to be in an important position because almost every run went past it at some point. So whenever someone had a run, you'd see the B3 paint wall, and that was cool. Then any percent got much quicker because we found more game-breaking bugs and stuff. And as a result, B3 isn't... Come on, let me get around this sound you. B3 isn't in all the any percent runs anymore. It's in this one, but the other 2 skip it. Right, let's do this. You can explain what X dropping is while I try and do this.
normally you're not supposed to be able to drop a cube and jump on it at the same time like you did here. But if you click X, it tries to initiate like a little sequence that restarts the checkpoint. But you don't. A side effect of that is that it drops any items that you're holding. So you can instantly drop any item, and you can, if you do an X drop and jump at the same time, you can get on a cube like that.
Yeah, it gives you a slightly different kind of collision. This is a tree climb. That's confusing because there are no trees involved. Come on, this could be awkward because I have too much frame rate. There we go.
There it is.
I call that a tree climb. Technically speaking, it's a corner climb, and it's when you wedge yourself between two bits, a slope bit and a wall, really. And at a high enough frame rate, this is another frame-related thing, you just kind of get stuck and go up. And you're going to see it again here, this time actually using a tree.
Yeah. We call it tree climb because for the most part, it happens with trees. It was discovered around the tree, so just call it tree climb anyway if there is no tree at the
This
other.
is fun.
Yeah, this is a trick called cube jumping. That's a special one called barrierless cube jumping, or BLCJ for short.
Oh, I didn't even...
You're going to need to see it again, because he bumped on the wall there. So essentially what is going on here is that when you slide to a cube and you try to jump on it and pick the cube up at the same time, the game gets confused and just launches you forward with a lot of speed and a lot of distance. The reason why this happens is uncertain, but it happens. And so there he can manage to slide towards the cube by pausing and unpausing with a certain timing. But usually these types of slides only happen around barriers. But
that one's especially cool because you noticed I changed my frame rate. You may not have noticed. The more frame rate you have, the further the jump sends you, and the harder it becomes because the picking up of the cube is frame perfect, which at like 300 to 400 frames per second is absurdly precise and not actually possible consistently. At 60, though, it's more manageable. You don't get as much distance, but you saw I got enough.
Yeah.
Right, more elevated glitches. This is the tower. This is like the sort of final section of the run. Intendedly, what you do is you use the red sigils to unlock a floor. This is floor 1. And then there'll be a puzzle inside this one here. And you need to work your way to the end of the puzzle. I'm not going to do the puzzle. I'm going to jump over the puzzle. Assuming I can ever get the jump off of this little lip. There we go. Nope, no we don't go. There we go. And I'm going to get to the end, and at the end there'll be a terminal here. This is the sort of theme that all the tower puzzles take, and this is boring. At the end of every floor, there'll be a terminal, and you can use the terminal to unlock the next floor, and then once you've got the next floor, there'll be another terminal, and at the end, and so on and so forth. And to get into each floor, you need red sigils, and to get to the very top, you need all the sigils. We're going to skip all that. We're going to get floor 1, and we're going to get floor 2, and then we're going to do things which are going to let us just skip the rest. It looks cool, I promise.
Shout out to the Portuguese language donator, who will now enjoy this whole dialogue in Portuguese.
I don't understand any of this. Usually we run with the game in whatever language you like, but the text should be set to traditional Chinese, which makes the monitors display faster. Right, here we go. This is a larger arranger. They get bigger in the tower. Most of the ones you've seen till now have been quite small. This might upset some more sensitive members of the Talos community because it's not actually efficient the way I'm doing it, especially not if I miss. But that's fine.
Yeah.
And here's floor 2. This is why we unlock cube. Everything I've done so far could have technically been done without cube, but cube is now critical. There's a gap in this wall here that lets me grab cube and take it out of its puzzle. And then there's another gap in this wall which lets me position it precisely such that it can be grabbed from the other side. And now you're going to see something fun, but something quite precise. So I'm going to set this up, and that'll happen.
That's another cube jump.
Yeah, this is a cube jump that isn't a barrierless cube jump, even though you didn't see a barrier.
Yeah, okay, so how it works is that the barriers actually, when they're open, they extend planes infinitely throughout the entire map. It's a bit complicated and really just quite technical, but essentially what happens is we line up with open barriers all the way up in the sky, and we can slide towards the cubes. And
if that had gone right, with all of this going fairly well, I'm going to come in underestimate. My estimate was because if I mess that trick up, it's a long retry. Most of this game has just backups upon backups upon backups. If I fail the backup, there's a backup for the backup. That trick has no backup. If I fail that trick, I just have to try it again. And as a result, I am not going to take the full 18 minutes. Maybe I am.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
It's fine. We have a second backup for if I don't bring the cube with me that you're going to now see. You're going to see some more of those barrierless cube jumps. It's a good thing I practiced this literally 10 minutes before the run started. Okay. Usually you'd have the cube you jumped up with and you'd use it to open a barrier. I don't have that anymore, so I need to figure out a new way to open the barrier. Right, Elohim will beg with us a bit. This is the final section of the game. He wants us to not go up, and we're going to go up. Fortunately, he's in Portuguese, so I don't really know what he's saying, but he's something along the lines of, something child, we don't have to do this, story can continue. Right. I'm going to set my frame rate to 20 now. Unlike 60 before, this will send me far less distance. There you go. And it's just enough to get up there.
Because we cannot climb that ladder while holding an item, so we just need to up.
Going to do it again to get over this barrier, and this is the solution to our problem. A jammer can open any barrier, even one that's meant to be opened by a button. Oh, this is a cool trick, actually. I hadn't mentioned this because it's usually not in the run. You're not supposed to be able to jam a barrier from one side and then grab the barrier through. However, if you stand right in the right spot, you can. I don't really have much more of an explanation for that.
Yeah, you just need to stand exactly in the middle of a barrier, and then the game doesn't really understand which side of the barrier you're on, so it lets you through.
There's one more jump coming up, and this is another uncapped one, excuse me. Come on. Moving along barriers like I'm doing right now to position myself is harder the higher frame rate you have, because walls get sticky at high frame rate. I've gone too far to the right. That should do. And now I need to line myself up here.
Those lineups are all very precise.
And if I don't miss, I'll fly into the... Nope, I will miss. That's cool.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
You wait. There we go. So what happened there was the game voided me out. If you fly out of bounds and don't hit a death plane, eventually the game will notice that you're way too far up or down or left or right, and it will just set you back to your checkpoint, which is what it did. And my checkpoint's here, so I can just try again.
And it's convenient that it also lets you carry whatever item you have, so...
Oh, come on.
Yep, we just get to keep our cube and try this for as long as we want.
This is going to seem impressive when I do get this, but it doesn't usually fail this much. There we go. I'm standing too far left, so I'll just stand a little further right. There we go. That should work. No, what the hell? Sorry about this. This is odd. You can see the golden staircase that I'm flying past. That's what I'm trying to hit. If I hit it, it will kill all my speed, and I'll be in the final room of the game. If I don't hit it, it won't kill my speed, and I will just fly past it. Right, let's... If this doesn't work, I'm standing too far right. I'm standing too far right. Okay, that's fine. And if it really doesn't work, I can kind of just fly up there, but that would really be a pity.
Yeah.
Good thing for estimates, hey? I'm going to take some time to line this one up more carefully.
Oh.
I don't really know what to say about this. This is just marathons being marathons to me.
Yeah, the lineup looks fire.
You got this!
Thank you, guys. It's very helpful. And that's not meant in tongue-in-cheek at all. Right. Come on, you stupid thing.
Should you be standing further back, maybe?
Maybe. I'll keep going until, like, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 seconds past the checkpoint. It's quite quick to retry here. World's slowest tower segment.
Oh.
That was further back. I don't know.
That's really weird, man.
I wonder if it's to do with frame rate being too high, because you do fly further with more frame rate, and I don't usually have as much as this PC is giving me, but there's no easy way to change that, is the thing.
Just try standing like significantly further back, like not too much, but like reasonably.
I'm going to just try the setup one more time. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to cap my frame rate with the console. I'm going to cap my frame rate with the console.
Okay.
Hang on, I need to check what I was getting first, and then I'm going to cap it to a bit lower. Sorry about this. This shouldn't happen, and usually you're not allowed to use console commands in a game. See if this works. Right, I'm getting like... Let's cap it to 250. Where's the equals button on... I don't know what keyboard language this is set to.
0, maybe? No?
This is interesting. I have no idea what the keyboard setting is.
Just
so
stand a bit further back.
Just stand a bit further back. If this doesn't work, I will pretend that I was doing the cube jump and fly to the ending. I will pretend I'm doing the cube jump and fly to the ending. I'm sorry about that, guys.
We still don't know where the equal key is.
Yeah, I still don't know where the equals key is. Right. Oh, yeah, I can't turn on cheats because I don't have the equals key.
Yeah.
Where's the equals key usually?
Shift 0.
Shift 0 doesn't work.
So, I think it's a Swedish keyboard.
Swedish keyboard.
So, I don't know where it's not Swedish.
Check the other keyboard and I'll keep trying this cube jump.
It's not on here.
Swedish people don't need the equals button.
Someone experienced with a Swedish keyboard?
How on earth is there not an equals button?
Shift and 0. Shift 0, yeah.
Nope, that's giving me an underscore.
What? It's set to English.
Why is this? Now I can't. There we go.
Oh.
This is a complete catastrophe.
We have all the time.
I have all the time. Wow.
We have like half an hour ahead, so.
German keyboard.
Yay!
Right. Now I'm going to need you to activate your imagination here. Pretend that I just did that cube jump, and whoo, up we go. Up into the sky. And we land here. And the cheats display is not there. Anyway, time's coming up when the button appears and I hit it. And I don't know how long this will take. I don't play in Portuguese. Transcender. There you go, time. Right, that wasn't supposed to spend like half the run at the last section, but oh well, that happens. You saw the ending anyway. What would have happened is I'd have flown into this golden room. The ending cutscene is about 10 minutes long. We do not have time to watch that as well. I'm just going to say a quick thanks to Ninja for helping me out. The other two Talos guys, Gelly and Apple, thank you very much. Every Talos person at home that added me to their friends list for the B3 paint wall in prep for this. And a quick shout out to Joe for letting me sleep on his couch for this event, saving me a bunch of hotel costs. Right, that's it for me though. I hope you enjoy the rest of the marathon. I'm going to stop this and not watch the rest of that cutscene. Thanks.
Thank you.